Your emotions do not control you. Your emotions are merely just information so you can decide what behavior to take next. A lot of people be crashing out about their emotions and missing the whole understanding that you decide what to do with your emotions. Your emotions are not controlling you, it's the other way around. You control your behaviors influenced by your emotion. That said, today we're going to talk about how your emotions are messengers and not masters. To dive into this point and get an understanding about how we can take control of our emotions, we are going to talk about what are emotions, how to identify them in your body, and why it's important to identify your emotions, and some ways to deal with them in a healthy manner. At the end of this video, I'm going to share with you some journal prompts to dive deeper into understanding what's going on up here that influences what goes on in the rest of the body. If you're new here, my name is Veronica Speaks, and I help you just one convo at a time heal your inner mind so that you can experience a life full of peace, presence, and prosperity. If this video is already speaking to you, make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe button. By doing that, you help me learn exactly what it is that pushes your button to move you into action. Also, it just helps the algorithm so more people can receive the help that I am giving out with the little bit of donation that y'all giving me with your time. I really appreciate you taking the time out to watch this video, and I pray that you receive something from it that advances you from the current spot that you're in. Now that we got through that part, let's talk about these emotions. So, what are emotions? Are emotions and feelings the same thing? Like, what exactly are we talking about today? Emotions are responses to stimuli, meaning they could come from internal stimuli, what's going on in your head and your memories, or it can come from external stimuli, something outside of you, like an event or a situation. Regardless of where the stimuli is coming from, your body has a physiological response to that stimuli, and you get triggered. That's where we get this idea of being triggered from. It is a response that we receive from the outside of us or inside of our mind. These triggers help us decide what to do next. Your emotions are information in energetic form. It helps inform you on what you need to maintain safety and homeostasis, otherwise known as balance. Since I am here to help you grow your peace, your presence, and your prosperity, that whole idea of balance is so important. You got too much to lose to be out here crashing out about anything, okay? You need to get your emotions in order, and that's what this video is going to help you do today. We are starting off with identifying the emotions, because if you can't identify it, how can you manage it? If you don't know what's going on up here, how are you supposed to move forward in a healthy manner? There's plenty of research out there to talk about what are emotions, but I want to highlight psychologist Paul Ekman, who identifies in the beginning 6 basic human emotions that is believed to be universal. We experience fear, disgust, surprise, joy, happiness, and sadness. Those 6 basic emotions are felt similarly in the body across the whole human existence. This is important to know because it gives you a starting point of what's going on. Typically, if you are feeling fear, your heart rate is going to rise. You're going to feel jittery. You're going to feel anxious. You are going to be moving really quick because your body is like, you need to get out of this situation. That is one way you can identify the emotion in your body. When you are happy, you may feel full. Your cheeks may just come up naturally and you can't control it. You feel more at ease. You feel loved. You feel embraced. Feeling happy literally feels like someone is hugging you, although they have not touched you. You feel the warmth of just being emotionally embraced and taken in. Joy is also an exciting emotion. It raises your heart rate in a lighter way. It's not the same way that fear causes that anxiety. Joy gets you excited in a different type of way. Whereas sadness can feel very restricting. It feels like a cloud is over your head. There's a weight on your shoulders. There's something that's bringing you down. Sadness can feel very heavy. And you're able to identify that in those quiet moments when you're by yourself, when you're alone. What are your thoughts like? How does it feel in your body? At the end of this video, I'm going to share an exercise that allows you to make that mind-body connection and really feel your emotions in your body. It is important to know that while these are 6 basic emotions, this is just one theory about emotions, and there is no right or wrong way when it comes to expressing emotions, but there is a healthy and non-healthy way of expressing your emotions, especially when it comes to hurting yourself or hurting others. This is why it's important to know how to identify your emotions. If you don't know how to identify your emotions, it can lead to a life of stress, anxiety, and negatively impacted relationships. Now, we are human and we are very social creatures. We need one another. Despite what everybody say out there, oh, I don't need nobody. Like, I'm good by myself. I can do bad by myself. Baby, you need somebody. Okay, whether it is a sister, a brother, a friend, a mama, a daddy, a partner, it does not matter. We are wired to be social. We need one another, period. And when we don't know how to identify our emotions and what's going on inside of us, it can bleed over into our relationships and hurt those relationships. Then it hurts our health because we do rely on relationships for a number of different livelihood circumstances. I want to give you an example. So I just watched the movie Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins, and it is a movie about a man who becomes estranged from his family for about 9 years. Roscoe Jenkins was named after his father, but with some stuff that happened in his childhood, him and his father did not have a close bond. And Roscoe grew up not knowing how to express the want and need for his father's validation. So when he became an adult, he kind of just left because he did not feel valued. He did not feel loved by his father. He didn't feel seen and he didn't feel heard. So he went off into his own world and tried to make something of himself without the need of his family being there. But deep down inside, Roscoe really wanted the love and the experiences with his family. But the pain of not knowing how to ask his dad for what he needs led him to make the opposite decision and leave the family. This lack of emotional identification and being able to express himself in a healthy manner really hurt him deeply. And he came back to his family for um, a family reunion, and it wasn't until he finally expressed to his dad, like, hey, I've never felt valued by you. Why can't you just see and acknowledge me? It wasn't until Roscoe finally broke down and told his dad what he needed for him to actually come to his senses and learn how to express his needs in a healthy manner. Now, you got to watch the movie for how it actually played out. And because I only gave you snippets of what's going on, the purpose of this example is to show you how not being able to express yourself leads to those rifts and fractures and breaks in the bonds that we really cherish and we need in order to live a peaceful, present, and prosperous life. All right, and here's the really dark side about not being able to express your emotions. Unintentionally, this lack of emotional intelligence leads to emotional neglect, emotional abuse, and dysfunction of yourself and others. And yes, I said others. It is possible for you to unintentionally be abusive to others when you are not acknowledging your emotions. Things like giving people the silent treatment is emotional abuse. Deflecting and making everything about the other person is also a form of emotional abuse. Gaslighting people because you're scared to tell the truth is a form of emotional abuse. I hope you get my drift. We unconsciously do some of these things because we're so afraid of getting our feelings hurt or hurting the feelings of other people that we end up hurting them anyway. It is a unconscious pattern that I hope to bring to the surface in the safeness of your space. Part of healing is being able to acknowledge where your shortcomings are and where you still have room for improvement. There is no shame in being unconscious about your behaviors, but it is absolutely your responsibility to become self aware and work on improving them so that you can experience a beautiful life. At the end of the day, it's up to you to navigate your emotions because no one's controlling your emotions. You are in control of your emotions. Once again, your emotions are just information, they are messengers. Once you learn how to read them, you know how to respond to get what you need and reestablish that balance, reestablish that harmony that's in your life. You are capable of doing that, but you have to know how to name and identify your emotions and recognize where you are feeling it in your body. While I identify as a Christian woman, I recognize that all major religions and spiritualities basically say the same thing. Treat others how you want to be treated. You have to work on yourself first. You are the prototype. You are the first person to know how it feels to be loved, to be abused, or neglected by you. So the way that you treat you is how you're unintentionally going to treat others when they get close to you. And I want to point out the when they get close to you part because when people are a distance away, you may treat them with all the love. You may treat them with all the glory and just, care and honor and respect because they're not close to you. You're not letting them see the real you. But the real you is how you treat yourself. And when people get close to you and they're able to see the real you, you start to treat them how you treat yourself. So it's so important to start with yourself first and navigate what's going on within you because you'll only treat others how you treat yourself. And I talk about this topic more in the 5 myths about self-love. I dive into how you can grow this self-love. How can you really show up for yourself and not in a vanity type of way, not in a conceited type of way. I'm all that, I'm on a pedestal. No, we're not talking about that. I'm talking about the real love. The real love, looking at yourself in the mirror, seeing yourself naked with all of your flaws, both physically and metaphorically, seeing you without all of the hats and stuff that you're wearing, the different names that you put on throughout the day. Who are you when no one is watching? Who's that person and how do you love that person? That's what matters. And learning how to express your emotions will help you love yourself even more and in turn help you love others in a more holistic way. Now that we talked about what emotions are and why it's important to identify your emotions and deal with your emotions, let's actually talk about how you can learn how to build that mind body connection. Practice makes permanent. I know people are like, practice make perfect. I don't believe that. I stopped believing that years ago because you could practice something wrong continuously and it will never become perfect. So practice makes permanent. The way that you practice identifying your emotions will show up when you are triggered. You will be able to remain calm in situations that are triggering because you took time outside of those triggering moments to practice and show up for yourself. For this inner work exercise, I want you to think about an emotionally charged moment. And emotionally charged could be with anger, sadness, happiness, joy, surprise, or disgust. One of those six basic emotions that Paul Ekman talks about, I want you to think back to a time where you experienced one or more of those emotions. While thinking about this situation, I want you to tune into your body. I want you to acknowledge what's going on in your body when you're thinking about this situation. Is your heart rate increasing? Is your breathing slowing down? Are you tingling in certain areas? Are you getting tense? Is there a headache brewing? I want you to pay attention to the subtle cues that your body is giving off while you are reflecting on this moment. Since this practice is new, I want you to give yourself grace. Give yourself time. You may not feel anything this first time because you could be so disconnected from your body that it's going to take practice every time to really get back in your body so that you're connected to what's going on. Oftentimes, when we are triggered in the worst way, when we are experiencing overwhelming fear, overwhelming pain, and stress, we disconnect from the physical body to deal with and minimize what's going on in our head. So, a lot of us have experienced moments where we're disassociated, where our mind is somewhere else and it's not rooted in this physical temple. So, be mindful of that. Give yourself grace. You are not going to get it perfect the right time. You're not going to get it perfect the first time, and that's okay. You're not expected to. Remember, practice makes permanent, not perfect. So it's okay. Allow yourself to learn through this process. Allow yourself to breathe through it. If you sense yourself getting triggered and you're getting heated up, you're getting riled up, your thoughts are moving quicker than usual, I want you to take a moment to take some deep breaths. And I mean slow, deep breaths. I want you to place your hand on your upper chest and your belly. Close your eyes. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. This breathing technique allows you to get out of that moment in your head, that very triggering moment, and get into the present moment by tapping into the mind body connection. Breathing technique slow down the most natural and the most prehistoric part of our brain, the part of our brain that's built for survival and survival only. Sometimes we misinterpret the situations that's going on within our head or outside of us as being extremely threatening, and our body immediately goes into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. When you take control of your breathing, you ignite the executive functioning part of the brain, the logical thinking part of the brain that's able to tell you it's okay. your life is not in danger. A threat is not occurring at this moment. And you're able to really process those emotions. You're able to feel through them without them becoming so overwhelming to the point where you just have to escape outside of your body with drugs, alcohol, or whatever else escapism method that you may be used to using. Breathing techniques really grounds you into the present moment. So I just wanted to take that moment to show you a practice that I use often to help me connect back with my body. In addition to reflecting on this emotionally triggering moment after you've calmed down and you're able to feel just in that space, in that safe space you've created for yourself, one that will never go away, because once you become a safe space to yourself, you can always recreate that in any situation that you go in. It really becomes your mind, your power, your will over your emotions. Going back to the mind body exercise, you can ask yourself these three questions to help you dive deeper into that emotion. The first thing you can ask is, what is happening in my body? Where do I feel tension or heat or movement in my body? Can I name the feeling that might be connected with this sensation in my body? These three questions help you dive a little bit deeper into what's going on and how can you connect the intellectual piece to the physical piece, and both of them become a part of your toolkit for healthily coping with your emotions. Another helpful tool for identifying and healthily coping with your emotions is using an emotions wheel. Identifying exactly what you're feeling is hard when you don't know what words to use. When you use a word, you give yourself power over whatever that word represents. So when you know what else emotions exist outside of those six basic emotions, you're able to learn how to navigate that even better. So I will be including in the description box a link to my blog post that also has the emotion wheel embedded in it. So you can download it for yourself and refer back to it whenever you're feeling something in your body, but you feel like you don't have the words. When you have the words, you feel empowered. You no longer feel helpless, and you can take matters into your own hands and really build the beautiful life of peace, presence, and prosperity. As promised, you know I got to come with the journal prompts. Journaling saved my life, so I am always going to talk about the importance of journaling. You can truly create a safe space for yourself and give yourself just the moment, the space to get all of this junk that sits inside of our head outside on a piece of paper. And you can burn it if you don't want anybody to read it. You can go lock it up in a P.O. box if you don't want anyone to have access to these thoughts. But it's so important to get them out of your head so that you are not obsessing over it. You're not ruminating over these thoughts that are not serving you. A lot of us are a lot of our minds are like a track on repeat. Every single day, we're thinking about the same thing, same thing, same thing. We may be adding in new information, but going on the same type of track. You need to release yourself from that. Identifying your emotions helps you with releasing yourself from that ever revolving track, and you get to experience something new. You get to make some new music, boo. As promised, you know I got to give you these journaling prompts. I will always emphasize the importance of journaling because journaling saved my life. Journaling really allows you to create a safe space for yourself that isn't reliant on anyone else. It is crucial that you get all of the thoughts out of your head so you can make space for more better and beautiful thoughts to enter in your experience. A lot of us, unfortunately, repeat the same thoughts in our mind every single day. And if you're having traumatizing thoughts, distressing thoughts, or just overall negative thoughts, it's going to be like compound interest and get worse at a quicker rate. You can limit that by writing it down and getting it out of your mind so you can make space for new. But it is very important to know that you have to be intentional in making space for those new thoughts. Journaling doesn't help everyone because everyone is not being intentional about it. When you write things down, you are brain dumping on a paper. You don't want to judge yourself for what you're writing down. You don't want to feel ashamed of what you're writing down or guilty. If you do feel those emotions, you can burn the paper, or you can rip it up, you can destroy it in a way that is essentially symbolic for destroying those thoughts. Now, let's talk about these journal prompts. I'm going to be reading from my blog, so you can access these journal prompts through the link in the description box. The 5 journaling prompts that I have for you today are: what emotion have I mistaken for a personality trait? What might my emotions be trying to teach me? What emotions do I frequently find myself experiencing? Name the emotions that I refuse to feel through my body. Why am I running away from those feelings? These 5 journaling prompts will help you navigate how to respond to your emotions, how to show up for yourself in a healthy manner. And please remember that practice makes permanent. You're not going to get it right every single time, and that's okay. We are human, we're going to make mistakes. But the purpose is you want to keep on practicing these exercises until you get solid in them and you feel secure in the way that you embrace your emotions. You feel safe expressing your emotions and you know that they will not overwhelm you. So today we discuss what are emotions, why it's important to identify your emotions, and how to feel your emotions in a healthy manner. Knowledge is powerful, but it means nothing if you don't put any action behind it. I hope that you take the tools that I shared with you in this video and apply them to your life so that you can build that life of peace, presence, and prosperity. You ultimately get to choose the kind of life that you want to experience through the habits that you behave in every single day. Your behaviors are influenced by your emotions. Considering emotions give you information about how you can respond to the environment outside of you. Learning how to navigate your emotions can lead to a better relationship with yourself and with others. If you're dedicated to showing up as your best self and doing the necessary inner work to be the best that you can be, please consider subscribing to my blog at Veronica Speaks, where I get to share the tips and tools with you so that you could build a life full of peace, presence, and prosperity. Until next time, my name is Veronica Speaks, and I pray that you remain in peace. Bye.